So the big question is, do long-distance relationships work? Today, I explore some of the challenges with long-distance relationships and what you can do about it. My name is Joan Nwosu, and welcome to the Second Chances Podcast, a love journey in black and white. Recently, I've been talking to a lot of people who are looking to get into new relationships, and I'm hosting a virtual dating session meetup over the weekend, and people who are attending are in different countries. And I got talking to one of the applicants about being open to long distance relationships and if she understood what it would take to be in a long distance relationship. And the truth is, while it can be fun, right? Because the person is far away and you're constantly excited to talk to them and you can plan to visit, they come with a huge share of challenges. And so I want to throw some light today on long distance relationships and some of the strategies that you might want to think about before embarking on one, or if you're already in one, some of the things that you might want to do to make it better or last, right? So that you're getting the benefits of being in a relationship even though you're not physically in the same space. I will speak for myself when I say I know that my personality type or maybe just me, I don't fare too well with long distance relationships because I'm a physical touch kind of person. I love to spend quality time. And for me, just being in different countries or continents or even in different cities is a huge challenge for me. I've tried it in the past, not for me. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It just isn't for me. So long distance relationships, as great as it sounds, it really speaks to the whole love knows no distance phrase, which is beautiful because love is a beautiful thing. And yes, it does sound romantic. Yes, it does sound like something out of a movie and the excitement of getting together. It's challenging, especially if you're in different countries where there's different time zones. And then there's also the lack of physical presence, lack of intimacy, and it really does start to test the strength and the resilience of the relationship. So it takes a lot. Like, people who go into this, kudos to you. So one of the first challenges is communication. For any relationship, communication is the most important thing. It's the lifeline of every relationship, especially with long distance relationships. So how do you keep the communication consistent and meaningful even when you're not in the mood, right? Even when you're not in the same physical space? Because I know that for me, we might be in the same room, in the same living room, and we don't have to say anything, but you're there physically. So I know that in some way, spiritually, we're probably communicating, we're probably connecting without saying words. But with long distance relationships, that doesn't really work. So you do have to consciously, intentionally keep the line of communication going. You have to make sure that days don't go by without communicating, whether you're in the mood or not, and you just have to do it. So you have to be intentional about it. And some ways that you can really make sure that both parties are on the same page is just schedule your regular calls. So just agree on what time of the day are we going to have video calls, video over audio, because video you can see the person and it feels like they're there with you. So schedule it into your calendars so that nobody misses it. You both know that this period in time, every day or every other day, this is the time that I talk to my partner. And you can also do things like virtual dates. Like, I have a friend who is in a long distance relationship, and she and her partner would actually plan dates. So they will both order in their different locations and set up the table and then get on the video call and have dinner together. I thought that was absolutely beautiful. So those are just ways that you can keep the communication going and just make sure that you're really open and you're talking about your day or being a little bit more descriptive in expressing yourself so that the other person can imagine or at least get some sense of what it is that you're experiencing on your day-to-day. This is very key. Couples who can talk about their day-to-day, for me, they're closer. Another part that can be challenging is this emotional intimacy, right? When you're in the same physical space, yes, there's this the physical chemistry, you can feel each other. But how does that work when your worlds are apart? So some and I've seen this as well, where some people will schedule like real dates, like dates. So it could be watching a movie, watching it at the same time and having conversations around around the movie and discussing what's going on, or you can go to the gym at the same time, or you can go for a walk at the same time. You just have to get creative. I think that's the key. You have to be creative about making this work. You have to think about ways, virtual ways, that you can stay in touch with the person and feel like you're getting to know them, you're spending the day with them, you're creating memories with them. And not just waiting for the phone to ring and having just a phone call. You really do have to get creative when it comes to creating that emotional intimacy with your partner. Some of the things that you really need to consider is trust. So if you have trust issues, it's going to be a tough one, because you really need to have trust and need to be secure in your attachment style. Remember, I spoke about attachment styles a couple of days ago. For you to be able to survive a long distance relationship, right? That distance apart can stir on or trigger some of your insecurities, some of your doubts. You might start reading between the line or imagining things in your mind, or you might see a picture of your partner somewhere and start trying to imagine things that are not really happening. So it's really, really important that there's trust between both parties and you're both consciously working on it. You're constantly honest about everything that's going on with you. You're open, you're sharing your feelings, you're sharing your fears, so that each person can reassure the other person. You can validate the person's feeling. You can use the right words or the right expression or action so that they know that they are safe, that nobody else has snatched you from them, that the relationship is safe. It's very, very important for long distance relationships for people to feel like their partner is there. Not physically, but there emotionally for them, that they still belong together. So it also takes a lot of effort when it comes to planning, because it's not like you just drive over to your place. Now you have to plan, because if it's a different city or different country or continent, then it's going to cost money. So you have to be ready to plan around their vacation time, plan vacations together. You have to put in a lot of effort, and it can't just be, I'm coming to see you for 2 weeks and then that's it. You have to be a little bit more creative at that time, because it's 2 weeks in 6 months or in 1 year. So now you really have to make sure that you're planning a lot of beautiful activities so that you can build memories together. You need to do a lot of setting goals together, making plans together, executing those plans together, being on the same page, making sure that you're taking your vacations at the same time. It is really, really a lot of work. And, my point today is not really to deter anybody from long distance relationships. Long distance relationships are a true test of your growth, right? Because that is testing how trusting of a person are you? How much in control of yourself are you? Or do you just get swayed by any little distraction? So it's a really, really true test of your growth when it comes to relationships and you as a person, because it takes a certain kind of person to successfully maneuver a long distance relationship. So for me, as people are stepping into this virtual dating on this weekend, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm wondering, if people make connections and they are in different continents, how can they make it work? And that's the purpose of this video. Ways for them to be able to be creative, to invest in a little bit of planning, to be more intentional and conscious about their communication, and make sure you're communicating in a way that even though you've had a bad day, you have to show up as your best self. You have to try to be more supportive of your partner than you would have to do if you were in the same space. So being in a long distance relationship is a great opportunity for growth. It tests you. It tests you big time. And I want to say that in this world of love, there are no impossibilities. If you truly love someone, you can make it work, but it does take work. So make sure that before you get into a long-term relationship, make sure that this is something that you really want, because it will test you, it will push you, it will challenge you, but more importantly, it will make you grow. It will force you to grow. And if you don't grow, then it's going to crash and burn. So take this on board. And if you do find yourself in a long distance relationship, then know that you're a special kind, you're a special person. And with the right tools and strategies, you can be successful in one. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Second Chances podcast, a love journey in black and white. Till next time, sending you love and light.